What's up, guys? Mr. Music Fan here. How you guys doing? Excuse me. Here to finally, and I mean finally, embark on my Nirvana discography review, also slash tribute to the band, as two Thursdays ago they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and also as 3 Saturdays ago marked the 20th anniversary to the day of Kurt Cobain's death. So embarking on this Nirvana discography review, let's go into the first studio album, Bleach, which was released on Sub Pop Records in 1989. I'm not going to go through the whole band thing. Like, they were formed in 1986, 1987 with Chris Novoselic and Kurt Cobain. Went through a huge roster set of drummers, which included Dale Crover and Chad Channing before they settled with Dave Grohl around 1990, but that's a bit ahead. So, going with this particular album, Bleach, apart from In Utero, which was released in '93, this album is a far grungier record. It's evocative of the band's, of Nirvana's more grunge influence. Particularly around the Seattle grunge scene of the time, which particularly bands like the Melvins, Mudhoney, those type of bands that were prevalent around that time, in the 80s in Seattle. And the band signed to Sub Pop Records, which was used to be exclusively a grunge label, which only took grunge bands. And considering Kurt Cobain's knack also for pop songwriting, this is an album that in its core is very grunge. It's very strictly grunge. A lot of the grunge sound is evocative of the hardcore scene that was prevalent at that time, also in the 80s. Mind you, this was the Reagan administration, and a lot of the hardcore bands were completely reactive against the policies, the social policies, and also the international policies of the Reagan administration, although it was more reactive towards his more domestic policies. And so their sound was very evocative of the hardcore scene at that time, as well as their own particular scene. Again, I mentioned the Melvins and Mudhoney, for example, and so a lot of it, you can hear a lot of the grunge influence on this album, like songs like School, songs like Paper Cuts, songs like Blue, also songs like Big Cheese also are very super grungy songs. Negative Creep is a very grungy song. It's very dirty type of sounding album, and very little of this record really has any of that pop type of quality, the pop type of sounds. Really the only song that really has a presence of pop songwriting is the song About a Girl, which is kind of like an REM meets Beatles type of track, which Kurt came up with one particular time. And apart from that, a lot of this was due to the fact that considering that, again, I mentioned earlier that Sub Pop was a very grunge type of label, then the band, especially Kurt Cobain, couldn't really reveal any of his secret pop inclinations, his love for catchy pop melodies at this point, and particularly the band felt very restricted by their own particular scene, by the grunge scene in Seattle, and how they were expected to sound like. So it's no wonder, it's no secret that of why Bleach sounds the way it does, because they had to conform more towards the dirty sound, the dirty distortion. They had to fit in the mold of the grunge scene. So not really a lot of fluctuation with pop melodies here, apart from About a Girl. So it's kind of the reason why Bleach sounds the way it does. But other than that, also the lyric writing too in this really doesn't really offer much. Of course, it's not to say that the lyric writing towards Bleach is bad, But again, this is the band starting out. They were starting out with something different, something new. At least for them, it was something new, and also a lot of the songwriting is more pervasive towards Kurt's surroundings at that time. You know, in Aberdeen, Washington, which is very post run of the mill type of town. Like, I mean, like, it's more famous for lumberwood than anything else, and it's really a place that has nothing to do with it anyway. Nothing to do in Aberdeen, you know, which really is reflective in the lyrics, in Kurt's lyric writing, especially. Like, also especially pervasive in Kurt's lyric writing is his parents' divorce when Kurt was a young boy, and that definitely, I would not find it surprising that it had a profound impact on the rest of his life up until his death. And some songs off of Bleach really carry that, like especially the song, I think it was Paper Cuts, I think that was the song. No, it's probably Swamp Meat more likely, but Swamp Meat definitely has that lyrical content to it. So yeah, not a lot of you know, the type of lyric writing we'll see, especially within Utero, but it's a start nonetheless. So so yeah, let's go to a track by track review of this album. First song, Blue, BLEW. I just love the beginning to this song. It just sounds like you know, Chris Novoselic really downed tuned tuning to this song. It was like that really downward bass, like ding 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 ding. I love that beginning. It really starts out really strong with this album, with this particular song, and it's pretty awesome. Floyd the Barber, the second track. I love how dynamic this song is. I love how this song really goes like dang 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 dang, you know. I love how that sounds. I really do. I especially love how the ending, in the ending of the song, where, you know, there's Kurt's guitar, then it gives way to Chris's bass and the drums, and then finally the drums, and then the song just ends. Lyrically, this has somewhat of like a prequel to an In Utero track called Senseless Apprentice, about murderers and killers, and it kind of has a really darkish bent to it, the lyrics to this song. About a Girl, the third track. As I mentioned before, this is like the only song on this album that leans towards Kurt Cobain's more love for pop melody and pop craft. And you know, this type of dynamic won't be seen until Nevermind, but and again, I mentioned it's an REM meets the Beatles type of song, like this song, and it's pretty awesome actually. Like, it's like the only one that reveals Kurt's inclination for like just catchy pop melody, and you know, like it really works well, and it's a really great song if you want to start off on Nirvana. The fourth track, School, lyrically is about how the band fits into the Seattle grunge scene and how they feel within their own scene, particularly the confines of Sub Pop Records. And again, as I mentioned, you know, they couldn't experiment any further towards their pop inclinations, and had to be forced to conform to the grunge scene at that point, the sound of it, or what they were expected to sound like. So this song was written kind of like as a response to feeling confined, but ironically, it's also pretty grungy. Love Buzz. This song is a cover. It's a cover from a band called Shocking Blue that was around in the 1960s, and even I have to admit though, like, I haven't really listened to the original, to be perfectly honest, but I have a feeling even if I listen to it, it won't nearly come as close towards how this song sounds. Like, you know, like Chris Novoselic doing like that rolling like bass thing at the beginning, which is pretty jumpy. And the rest of the song is just simply awesome. It's just jumpy, it's fun. I certainly love Love Buzz. uh, Paper Cuts. Paper Cuts oddly reminds me of Led Zeppelin for some reason. I don't know why, but it's very Zeppelin-esque type of song. Like the way Kurt's guitar is in that song, the way the song drives itself, as far as the rhythm section is concerned. I don't know. It really reminds me of Led Zeppelin. Negative Creep. Negative Creep is definitely the most punk rockish, grungy song off here. It's like has Kurt's distortion guitar full up in range, and the rest of the band is of course very driving here. You know, and Kurt's angst in the song is not to be ignored by any means. So that's all I can say about this song. Really angry, pretty grungy, and very punk rock. Scoff. I love how the drums go in this one. Like, I love how that one goes, and you know, I love the drive of this song. And I'm not quite sure what this song is about, to be honest, but I pretty much have an idea that is referencing to alcoholism, or some guy who's maybe reacting towards maybe like a wife or something. You know, I would not be surprised if this was from the viewpoint of Kurt's father towards his mom. Again, parents divorced at an early age. Swamp Meat. Swamp Meat it's a song. To be honest, I'm really not imagining this song to be about Kurt's parents and his feelings of what each other's perspectives are like towards each other. And I love this song mainly because of the subject matter. I also love it because it has like this, you know, this punk rock driving guitar ethos behind it, and the way the song just drives the whole subject. And it's a pretty awesome song, I have to say. This song lyrically for me has a similarity to the In Utero track, Very Ape, as it's very evocative of like macho people and figures, and how they think, oh, because I have muscle, then I'm better than everybody. Kurt Cobain especially had a huge antagonistic thing towards that, and this song definitely is about that. Sifting for me is a very Black Sabbath-like track. It's very evocative of Black Sabbath, especially in the middle section between the verse and the chorus. Like as it's heading straight towards the end, really that instrumental section when Kurt, you know, does his guitar thing, and it's really evocative of Black Sabbath for me. And Big Cheese. Like this song's pretty awesome. It starts like with Kurt Cobain doing this guitar thing, like it's pretty cool sounding. And you know, like the rest of the song, you know, is pretty cool also too. Like, you know, the way the band drives the song, the way Kurt passionately propels this song forward, and it's a pretty decent second to last ending of this album. And the real last track, well, technically Big Cheese is the real last track. The last track on the CD version, Downer, which again was released on Incesticide, it's a pretty decent ending. It's really short, straight to the point, and you know, again, like the chorus thing is again very driving with this punk rock ethos behind it. And yeah, much more I can say about that. So, 4-point grading system for this album. Music originality, from between a 1 and a 5, I would give this around probably a 3.5. It's not to say that I think the originality is bad. It's just that, again, as I said, the band had to conform their music to the expectations of the Seattle grunge scene at that time. So again, they couldn't really do much with pop melodies as far as the song About a Girl is concerned. But you know, for their debut album, it's pretty pretty good for a debut album. Like as I hear it, it was recorded under $600, which is like about the cheapest you can ever make a record. And for $600 recorded album, it's pretty cool. I forget, what was the next point again? Oh, that's right, songwriting. I really don't have much for the songwriting. And probably the best I like a 3. And it's not really say that Kurt's writing is bad here. It's just that he writes about his experiences, and he writes about his like I said, his experiences in Aberdeen, Washington. You know, like, but I think just for my personal taste, the lyrics, apart from songs like About a Girl and School, you know, they really don't offer that much for me as far as the content is concerned. So like about a 3, kind of decent 3. And likability for this album, I would probably put, like, again, another 3.5 on this. Like, it's not an album that I listen to that regularly. It's an album that, like, I kind of take like once or twice I listen to this album, and I think this is pretty cool. Yeah, it's a really cool album in their discography, but really not much that I can listen to. So it's a 3.5. And as for Bleach in of itself, again, for an album recorded under $600, it's pretty awesome for its time. Only though more evocative in the sense that, like, the song About a Girl really points ahead towards the next album that will not only propel them to monumentally mainstream success, but also turn the band into, especially even Kurt Cobain, as a figurehead in the music scene, and which of course is to anybody would be unexpected, but for Bleach on its own, it's become very overshadowed by Nevermind in the intervening years, but it has gained a lot of decent appreciation and success among fans. Sorry. So for Bleach, I probably give it like a decent 4, like a decent 4 out of 5. It's not my favorite Nirvana album ever, but for an album that's starting out, like, again, having this Black Sabbath sound meeting, or at least trying to meet Bay City Rollers type of sound, it's a pretty decent album. It's a great album to start out with for the band. So yeah, I've almost gone on for 20 minutes already. This is my Bleach album review. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Why or why not? And rate, comment, and subscribe if you like the videos. And as a music fan, Nirvana, Bleach. I'll see you guys with the Nevermind review. Take care.